now it's time to talk a bit more about Sanity and what we have been working on. And to do that, I have the great pleasure of introducing Evan. I think you can come into view.
Yeah, I can sneak into view here.
And Evan is our Chief Product Officer, as it's called.
Very fancy name.
A very formal, fancy name. But he's absolutely the right person to talk about Sanity and features and everything. So yeah, take the seat.
Thank you. The hot seat.
I will make you host.
This is it's super strange talking to so many people without any of them actually being in the room. So just let me try to host the disable attendee screen sharing. I want to present, Knut.
I thought I did that. See.
Oh, now it's doing.
Is it working?
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, cool. So I thought that I would just sort of briefly at the end of sort of this. It's we've gone on for some time, and it's starting to get slightly late. So I'm going to be fairly brief, but I thought it would be nice to talk a little bit about what we're working on. Now, it would perhaps be sort of best if we could be totally transparent all of the time and talk about everything that we're working on, but we see that it's kind of like it's pretty constrained in terms of all the pressure we have from different sides. So it's very difficult to have a completely open backlog. But I thought it would be nice to today talk about some things that we are releasing really soon now. So what are we doing these days? As has been mentioned here, we spend a lot of our time helping. Just being support on Slack is one full-time position. We're spending a lot of time just talking to people and helping. And a lot of people also say that our documentation is really good, but all of these questions that we get is kind of like the best opportunity to make our documentation even better. So that's something that we are working on. We also spend some time improving the product. We spend time on what's up? Oh. So we're spending time on just ironing out small sort of bugs. We spent everyone spent an entire week just fixing bugs a few weeks back, and we're also of course spending time extending and making new features. And today I thought that I would talk a little bit about what we're up to when it comes to extending Sanity. So one thing that we've spent a lot of time on this year is something that we've called Create, which is basically just an easier way. And I'm going to be kind of brief here because I think a lot of you might have seen sort of this. But we spent a lot of time making a feature where you can easily spin up deployments for Sanity Studios and front ends and have them deployed on Netlify. And very many people are happy about this, especially people who like Sanity and would like to show it to someone, and that it's not sort of like a multi-step process of setting up a project and spending a lot of time in the CLI before people can actually get to use it. And right now we only have a sort of a small smattering of templates that we mostly had for launch with Gatsby and Next and Sapper, but this is something that we're going to be improving in the coming months, and especially when it comes to making only backends, because sort of like the examples that we have now are both front ends and backends, and I think that we're going to make quite a few things that are just backends, like e-commerce examples or other things that people keep on asking, and these examples, they try to solve some of these things, like how do I use Sanity as a page builder. So as a part of this release, we kind of were like, where do we put the Netlify button? And as a result of that, we made an entire feature, which are dashboards and widgets that go on them. And they look like sort of this. And as we're all about allowing people to customize how these surfaces are, we of course made these customizable as well. Yeah. So this is what the Netlify widget looks like. But we also made this configuration. So we're now seeing these examples people starting to release things, like someone made this note plugin, and also someone to sort of day. I think Knut bribed someone with swag in order to get someone to build a Minesweeper plugin. Knut, who made these things? We need to thank them.
Yeah, we are thanking them.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but now.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. If you don't have it at the top of your head, it's completely fine. So yeah, and also Gatsby have built this. Right now, it's still really simple. We're hoping this at some point will show the status of the build too. But they have made a widget for Gatsby Cloud that connects the studio to the preview functionality. So that's sort of it for things that we have been making. Now we're getting to the section which is perhaps a bit more exciting, which is upcoming features. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is API versioning. And first, this has been kind of a conundrum. It's kind of like we have made the backend runs a sort of a query language, and if there are small inconsistencies in that query language, how do you make gradual improvements? And the way, of course, to do this is to have gradual improvements. So what we're doing now is, but of course, people have code in sort of production that rely on these inconsistencies. So the only way to improve the APIs is to have versioning. So we will be in the coming days releasing a documentation on how that works, and new versions will be in the first instance. They will be opt-in, so nothing will change unless you opt in. So there will be documentation for this. So the next thing that I'm super stoked actually to be talking about is the history API. And this has been something that has been on our roadmap for a very long time. It's one of the things that we had to sort of not do in order to release, but we've had all of the sort of plumbing for the history API forever. And we've been taking, and as some of you perhaps know, the Sanity editing solution is real time. So more than one person can work on the same document at the same time. Any edit change gets submitted as a small patch. And we've actually been taking care of all of those patches for years, and storing them and keeping them in a secret place inside our servers. And we've now finally found the time to actually write the APIs for these. So it's not in production yet, but currently on our staging servers, there's quite a comprehensive suite of APIs to get at the revision history of all of the documents. So that's something that we're really looking forward to. But this would also be only half a sort of thing without also a studio history experience. So that's the other thing that we're doing. And this is code that's changing on a daily basis now. It's something that we're getting ready to roll out, but I thought I would actually try to show it. I think I've managed to construct myself a happy path actually through sort of this. So let's see how this works. So let's see. So here I'm currently in our studio, the one that we use for testing. What? Oh yeah, there's Slack. I'll close this. Yeah, thank you, Knut. That's very kind of you. I'll make this bigger, or actually I'll grab myself a new window and do this. Okay, right. So I'm just in the dummy studio that we use to test things with. So I'm just going to make myself a new color, and the color that I'm going to make is my beautiful, oh, I can't spell, beautiful aquamarine blue, right? So I do this, and then I do well, that's good, that's not quite aquamarine. So like this, and then we do another color, and let's make that slightly darker. So and I can publish this, right? And you might see that there's a small change here that we're starting to actually write out labels for what the status of the documents are, and then I can then take this and publish it, and then it gets published. And you might also see that these are now actually links. So if I'm just going to collapse these, and then I'm going to click on this, and then that will give me this sort of history. And then you have timestamps for the creation, the editing, and the publishing. What? So then I can, for example, if I decide to sort of change my mind, and I go like, it's all wrong, and it needs to be red, right? So I can do this, and then I can change these colors to red instead, and then this will show up as edited, and I can publish this, and this will create a new sort of event in my timeline here. And then I'm of course free to go back to blue, and these things are editable. It mounts the document in a read-only state. So any custom widgets that you add here will just work. And then I can traverse this, and then I can of course also roll back. So we get this. And then so now we have it again, we're back to the blue, and it's a draft and it's published. And then I can of course ask to unpublish that document too. And this screen needs some love. And then I get to this, right? So now it's an unpublished, yeah, sure. So, and then also there's also one other thing that we've been waiting for here, and that's that we can actually attribute these changes to people as sort of well. So now we see that it's Knut that's writing here, and he's changing the color to, and we can actually fight. We can have an edit fight here with the colors, and then here you will see that right now it's yeah, you published it. Great. Okay. So now we see that here we have complete edit sort of history, and you can see that there are 2 people that contributed to this editing session. And if there's a break of more than 5 minutes, we will make new sort of chunks for those. And I think I've tested my sort of luck, and nothing actually, nothing broke. I think I'm going to be happy at sort of that. So I'm going to leave it at sort of that, and I will let Knut sort of just keyboard cat us out.